Hello, my friends. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Tarot Playdate number, what's that? 61. That's a lot of frickin' playdates that we've had. Let me see if I can adjust this just a little bit. There we go. Want to make sure you can see the cards well. Let me say some hellos to everybody who is here already, and I'm super happy to see so many people here already. So we have Elizabeth in. Yep, you were first, darling. Longman Tarot. Hi, Richard. Nice to see you. Let's see. Oh, you were both exactly on time. Hey, early is on time. Lori Tries Life. If you are still here, good luck at the restaurant today. I've probably done that twice, both at the same restaurant during COVID at all. It's kind of a long lost luxury, isn't it? But be safe. Elle, thank you for doing some housekeeping. Top mod, top admin. I appreciate it very much. Let's see here. Tarot trainee listening. That's fine. Thanks for hanging out with us, even though you're out and about. I actually appreciate you making that effort. Tadora and Neva. Oh, that's a pretty one. Hello. And let's see. Jackie Jacaranda. Hello. Pamela Ramsey's here. It's a glorious day. You know what? It's cloudy and rainy here today. And actually, but I woke up this morning and I walked outside and it had rained, but it was not raining. And all I wanted to do was like walk forever. It smelled so good. I don't know. Maybe we're like on that tipping point of ending winter and getting close to spring. But I was having this weird, very unlike me desire to like get out into nature. I don't know. Maybe I'm embracing more of that these days. Shane, good morning. Nice to see you here. Let's see. Jennifer Ball. Hello, Jenna. Nice to see you. White Tree Tarot is here. V. Kestrel getting ready to commute. Hopefully you can catch the beginning. I'll try not to waffle on too long so you can at least find out which card we had or have. Tammy Pie. Hello. Hello, kittens. Let's see. Becca is here. Hi, Becca. And Corvin is here. Hi, Tail Raven Tarot. See, I said hi to Tarot Trainee. Okay, we're just taking, I was like slowly grooving through my chat. I was like, okay, I've got this. It's not going to jump. And then the minute I had the thought, it jumped. All right, I think I'm back to where I was. Hello, good morning, Kim. Nice to see you. And hopefully I haven't missed anyone yet. Donna Riedler, hi. Sea Cat is here. Maharet is here. Elle Gardner, hi there. Queen Aset Heru, every time I wonder about that, but hello. Justin Michael, hey, nice to see you in here, Justin. And let's see, Neem is here. Good morning. Well, it's not good morning, is it, for you anymore? Neem. Sean Loreth, hi. I feel like it's been a little while since we've seen you, Sean, so it's nice to see you. I said hi to Lori Tries Live. Emily's Tarot Magic, hi, Emily. And I'm almost to the bottom. Okay, I got to the bottom, so if I accidentally missed anybody, we can blame Jumpy Chat. It wasn't on purpose. How did justice show up for you this week? I feel like this card freaking showed up everywhere this week. Not in any of my draws, but I saw it coming up with other people in other spreads. And I happened to be watching Rochelle at Amethyst Ascension, and she was doing this kind of collaborative tag with somebody where they talked about other like tarot tubers that they saw in the various cards. And when she got to justice, she said it reminded her of Jen's Balanced Tarot. I mean the scales, I don't know where she's getting that, but I think Debbie Aquarius Owl was in her chat, was like, that was our Tarot Playdate card for the week. So that was kind of a fun little way. Oh, speaking of, there is Debbie right there. I'm giving you credit. Hopefully that was credit deserved, but I'm pretty sure it would remember it was you, but I thought that was kind of funny. No justice here for Elizabeth. I just posted it on Instagram as well yesterday and got a couple comments about that. All right. Shall we get to looking at what our card for this week is going to be? But before we do that, all you playdaters who know how this is done, what we need to do first is gather our list of 5 questions that we will use this week's card to answer. So if you can pop that into the comments in all caps for me so I don't miss it, I will definitely try not to skip anyone. Yeah, I thought it was you, Debbie. I will get that set up, and that will be our question. So I'm going to take a sip of my coffee, which is still hardly, I haven't drank much of it yet. So Elizabeth, I will drink my coffee. I know you like to keep me reminded. But let's see what questions we have. I know Simon's not here yet. I don't know if he's going to make it, but I know he had one, something about marching into March. Does anybody remember what he said? Because we can always use that comment if we need to. Does nobody have questions for me today? Like, what is happening? Aloha, Jonathan. Nice to see you. Okay, thank you, Jenna. I was getting a little panicked there for a minute, thinking I wasn't going to have any questions. All right, so from Jenna, we have, how will the full moon affect our week? That is a perfect one. The full moon was last night, a super full moon, and the day got away from me, and I didn't do my full moon stuff. So, okay, for all you people who have been working with the moon a lot longer than me, I mean, a few hours, if I do it today, that still counts, right? I'm kind of banking on that. All right, how will the full moon affect our week? Thank you very much. And then, let's see, what else do we have here? Let me turn off this banner too. Oh, looks like it already turned itself off. All right, and then Gracia T, hello, nice to see you. Corbin's like, I need to get more coffee. Penelope Gordon, nice to see you. Back in Seattle. Oh, you're in my neck of the woods, huh? All right. Oh, no, I didn't see it, Emily. I wonder if YouTube is doing that all caps thing. Okay, if you want to repost it, Emily, and don't put the all caps, I will keep an eye out for it. Every once in a while, YouTube chat freaks out. All right, we've got one from Jonathan here. So if anybody else posted one in all caps I'm not reading out, let me know. Or if you have emojis in it, sometimes that causes a problem. Oops, that's kind of annoying. Oh, okay, Jen. Let's not delete things. Oh, geez. All right, so from Jonathan Daly. Is Mercury still in retrograde? Because I'm starting to feel like it might be. For the betterment of all. Okay, so betterment of all. How do we embrace our blessings for the betterment of all? Let me drag that up into the number 2 spot. And then Elizabeth's making sure I stay caffeinated. Hi, Mendy. Nice to see you in here. Thank you, Emily. Okay, how can we empower ourselves to face our fears and shift our mindset to be more nourishing and creative as we move forward through this week? I can always count on you to have a mouthful of a question, Emily. Okay, yeah, you probably broke YouTube with that, but it's a good question. I'm not judging, just so you know. I'm just teasing. How can we empower ourselves to face our fears and shift our mindset to be more nourishing and creative as I'm just going to put this week, if that's okay, just to keep it a little bit shorter for the taping. Okay, thank you very much for letting me know that that was there. All right, so I have 3 questions. I need 2 more. Yeah, I did see that, obviously. I saw it. Mercury is always in retrograde. Very true. Very true. You can't find the book. I've got the book here, Elle, but it's kind of hard for me to look at it as I'm doing Playdate. Okay, it still counts. The moon is still full until, after 2:17 Eastern when it goes into Libra. Oh, because it's void right now. Oh, interesting. Well, that'll be after Playdate, so that'll work out well for me. Hi, Anne. Nice to see you. Okay, V. Kestrel's got a question for me here. What should we avoid this week? And then, Elle, do you remember how Simon phrased his question? I might steal it since we're a little light on questions this week. What should we avoid this week? How can we prepare as we march into March, or something like? I feel like it was something like that. Did I miss anyone? What is Jonathan gonna do? Did I miss something? Oh, he's grabbing the book. Ooh, thanks, Jonathan. So what they are talking about in chat, just so you know, is when we dive into the symbols of the card. Oh, I still have this banner on. I could swear I turned it off. Okay. Then we like to look at how the Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite-Smith will describe some of the different symbols and the meanings it attaches to that. So that's always kind of a fun element here on Playdate. All right, did I get one last question? I got no question. All right, for once. All right, so Jen, borrowing from Simon, what can we expect as we march into March? I don't think that was his question, but that's going to be the question because we can't hang out here all day as much as I would love to hang out with. Oh, you guys gave me questions. Oh, that's much better. Okay, that's much better. All right, Neem, I'm taking yours. How can we work toward self-forgiveness? Thank you for saving the day because I was panicking, as you can see. Okay, Essence 818. How can we work towards, and I think somebody else was coming in to save the day as well, but I think I'm good now. All right. I've got 5. Phew. You guys scared me this week. All right. Enter, save. Hello. There we go. Okay. I think we're good. Thank you, Jackie, for being willing to come in with a question. And you guys were all coming in. Anne had questions. What can we march out of our lives and run? Oh, that was it. Oh, did you go all the way back and look, Elle? I bet you did, because that seems like a you thing to do. All right, let me hide this. Yes. Okay. I love all these questions. Thank you. For those of you whose questions I didn't get to, remember that I will need them next week. So please feel free to bring them back. Or maybe Elle and I will get smart and write them down in case we run into a situation like this again. All right. See you. I'm going to get to shuffling. So I'm going to have to shift over from the chat here for a second. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate you getting the book ready. But don't jump the gun. We got to get through our general meanings first, too. Okay, so our questions this week from Jennifer Ball's Witch House. How will the moon affect our week? From Jonathan, how do we embrace our blessings for the betterment of all? From Emily, how can we empower ourselves to face our fears and shift our mindset to be more nourishing and creative this week? And then from V. Kestrel, what should we avoid this week? So how can we empower? What should we avoid? I love it when we get kind of opposing questions and we have the same card to answer them. And then from Neem, Essence 818, how can we work towards self-forgiveness? And if you think you have nothing to forgive within yourself, you're probably wrong. I think we all do on some level. All right, let's see. Jennifer, I love that. How can I better prepare to have a question for you next week? Yes, that's a good question. All right, shall we see what we've got here? Oh, okay. 2 of Wands. I feel like questions are being answered in my head already. So what do you guys think? What's your first reaction when you see this card? Are we pleased to see it? We just recently had the 3 of Wands, but we had a little break between the 3 and the 2. But I know sometimes being able to distinguish between the 2 can be challenging. V says, ooh, one of my favorites. Let's see. Let me hold that here so I can get to the chat. Ooh, trimming decks while you listen. I need to get to some Elle modding. Let me just say. Notice how she says Elle and I. Elle, I'm pretty sure she's telling you to record the questions that aren't being used for a later date. Do you like how I do that? It's subtle, but yeah. Or maybe not so subtle. Let's just be real. Okay. I appreciate you guys having my back, however it happens. And of course, Elle knows she doesn't have to do that. Usually we have lots of questions. Should I stay or should I go is kind of something that comes up with this card, yeah? Jennifer says, I think this is a good card for the upcoming week. All right, so what are your kind of typical general meanings? When you see this card, just kind of generically speaking, what does it often speak to for you? So Jonathan says 2 of Wands is a card of envisioning the future, possibilities, dreaming of great adventures and new worlds. Oh, I love that. Feels very adventurous, which I suppose is the point. Anne says, getting ready to put ideas and plans into action. Planning, planning, planning. That's always what I think of. Yeah, for me, every time I see this card, I always think there's a world of possibilities with him holding that globe in his hand. That's sort of the phrase that comes to mind for me. It's like there are a world of possibilities. Now, how are you going to make it happen? Right? Let's see. Justin says, this is the time to evaluate and plan. Gracia, future planning and decisions. Hi, Renee. It's nice to see you in here, the Tarot Magician. B says, it's a hopeful card. Adventures ahead. Forward looking. I was going to say looking. Let's look in the book. How do they say it? Becca and Simon and all you Brits. You've got the whole world in your hands. Yes. Elizabeth, choice, potential, contemplation, threshold, planning, right? Just being on the verge of that. Corvin's like, I love the Two of Wands. A world of possibilities. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, what I do? I made you laugh. I said something. I did something. I don't even know. Jonathan says, as we see in this card, the man is facing left, looking out into the ocean. Behind him is a small town. This represents leaving what is known and safe to seek out that which is unknown. Yes. Oh, I love this, Elle. Our smallest loving gestures can carry the energy to change the world, right? So whatever it is that we're setting out to do could really have an impact on the world around us. That might not be exactly what Elle's saying, but that's getting me thinking. Oh, I like this White Tree Tarot. Time to conquer the world. We mean that in a positive way, not in a take over and oppress other societies way, though, right? I feel pretty sure about that. Justin says, I think it's coming from a place of past success. So it's a new endeavor being planned from a place of success. It's like can we accomplish now after we've already done so much, right? And that really helps lend towards the confidence and the ability to plan. Once we've done more, we can see more potential for the future. Sometimes until we get those little wins under our belt, it's difficult to believe that we can accomplish those things. But every time we get those wins, we start to feel more and more sure that the things that we attempt to do, the adventures we embark upon, are going to be successful. I like that. Clearly, because I started rambling about it for 5 minutes. Oh, Tanner Pie says, the Two of Wands popped into my head, but I thought we'd already done it. No, we did the 3, though. We did do the 3. L. Gardner says, choosing the possibility that will enable you to grow. Thinking about the wands and the growth on the wands, is that kind of where that comes from as far as like imagery? I like that. Renee says, I see Two of Wands as a decision having to do with passions. In a love reading, however, I see Two of Wands as making a decision to leave one person behind to head on a new adventure. Oh, okay. I can see that. Richard says he is dressed as a merchant and planning his new journeys and trades farther away. So venturing out into the world to sell his wares, right? I like that. Oopsie. Justin says, Rachel Pollack always talks about it as Alexander the Great being bored after conquering the known world and looking for more. He's like, all right, I conquered the world. What can I do next? Well, we still see there's more world beyond the little globe that's in his hand. Elizabeth, you're not stuck with only one option. You do not need to do things the ordinary old way. You have the ability to create an original vision for yourself. Be brave, be bold, be true to yourself. Oh, I love that. I love that. I want to screenshot that. One of these days I'll watch all these back, but boy, have I made a mess of myself not staying caught up. On your mark, get set, go. I'm filling in the go part for Jackie. Okay. Oh, that's okay, Corbin. You just listen and you keep being creative and putting your stuff out into the world, even if it's only into your own house. Jonathan, the wand behind him is attached to the wall, while the wand on his left, which he holds, is free to be moved. This represents our choice between that which is already established or establish new. Now, didn't we talk about this too with the Three of Wands a bit, right? Because we have 3 wands, but he has one that's kind of stabilizing him, right? So we've got a bit of that element still happening with this card. Elle says, everything humanly conceived and created started as an idea. Very true. Very true. Can't think how there would ever be an exception to that. So Mindy's also noting, one tethered and the other in his hand makes me think of energy in reserve. He's considering launching his plan and determining how much of his fire he needs to employ. Yeah, like how much energy is this going to take, right? And then we want to be efficient with the energy expenditure, right? The amount that we're putting out there needs to be worth whatever reward it is that we're after. So maybe that's too part of the planning stages, is like the whole risk assessment and or determining like how much effort is it going to take to accomplish this thing? Is that going to be worth it? I mean, in the pursuit of dreams, I want to say the answer should be leaning towards yes, but you never know. Donna, spirit of exploration. Yes. Oh, I like this one too. The world is your oyster, right? I wonder if there's a version of the card where we see an oyster like that instead of the globe. It'll be fun to look at the alternative cards today. I agree, Elle Gardner. Such great input from everyone, which is why I love Playdate. I may have mentioned a time or two. Okay, Anne says, Aries, ruled by Mars. Lots of energy here associated with Emperor and Tower Majors. Yes. Jonathan says the esoteric title of the card is Lord of Dominance, which tells us this card is about power, control, and will. All are fire energy qualities. So Anne and Jonathan are in sync here. L, looking into the past to try to predict, create a future. I feel like you really got the difference between the 2 and the 3 down, L. I really do. Jennifer says in the pictorial key to the tarot, it says to take notice of the rose and lily on the left side. Yes, and we're going to get a lot closer to the symbols here in just a few minutes. As soon as we kind of get past the general meanings, I will give you the, oh, you guys didn't have me pulling out the melanated. Let's switch it up for a minute while we're reading through these general meanings here. Let's look at this beautiful card because it always is. All right, here is our melanated 2 of Wands. That's inspiring, I feel like. Okay, so Jonathan's comment, in readings, 2 of Wands represents your inner power and self-reliance on your own capabilities. A strong desire to explore and create something of your own. This requires you to be a visionary. And then Elle says the power of past lessons in history, informed choice. Name, not settling for complacency when you have it in you to do more, create more, be more, succeed more. Yes, I love that. All right, let me pause this over here too. There we go. I'm going to be stealing my own bandwidth. All right, so let's take a close-up look, and we'll look at both, but I'm going to give you the nice close-up look of the card. Let's see if there's anything in this card. Tell me if you see anything for the first time that you haven't noticed before. And sometimes I like to play right along with this game. There we go. Oh, I had focus. There we go. Lots going on in this card. So there were the rose and lily that were just being mentioned here a moment ago. Looks like he's kind of looking out over a castle wall, doesn't it? All right, let's look at the other one here too, just to see if anything else stands out to you, because these are very similar. Oops. Sometimes I don't get my straight on angles. Now that's interesting there. We just have the roses without the lilies, or the lilies are blending into the background, but I feel like they're completely missing in that one, which is interesting. Yeah, so it's like these are painted on the wall. Yeah, Gypsy in the Forest. I think somebody else just said that too. Maybe it was Debbie who said the world is your oyster. Jonathan's going to pull out the book and start bringing some symbol details for us. Elle says, I never get why the world is colored green and red. You know, I wonder if it says anything about that anywhere. It is an interesting color choice that it's not like, you know, is red supposed to represent sort of the passion in pursuing? But yeah, the green. I couldn't even finish the thought. So I'm not sure it's fully formulated. I have no idea. Yeah, Elsa, I see a little house, right? So this right here. So to me, this almost looks like this is kind of maybe part of the structure he's standing on. You know how sometimes when we see in the background, we see sort of what looks like a castle or a little city or village, right? So I feel like he's like standing in one of the higher spots of that village. But do you see it differently? Okay. I was like, or Elizabeth, what's done on the left? Yeah, so we were talking about the lilies and the roses. Was the chat just stalled? Oh my gosh. Okay. My StreamYard chat. What is happening? Yeah, my StreamYard chat is really behind. Oh, there it goes. Oh my gosh. I was like, what is happening? Okay, there we go. We got it back. All right. Renee, green for go and red for stop. Yeah. So maybe it's about the decisions of moving forward or not. I mean, I can take your joke and make it kind of a serious topic or serious point, I suppose. All right. Neem says the water is there, so the emotions are involved, but the mountains are there, so the obstacles are there, and the house that is beneath him that shows he's responsible for others or people look up to him. Yeah, we definitely have all the elements in this card. Like in justice, remember, we noticed like there was a very significant absence of water, and there's also an absence of earth in that particular card. Jonathan, the globe, the ball is in your court. Observe the way things fit together in the world. Try to grasp. Warning, you can't measure everything with the same yardstick. A model only shows part of the truth. True. Justin says they look like strawberries in the melanated. Oh, these ones down here? Let's see. Oh, yeah, they kind of do, don't they? Let's look at that closer. Let's see if it'll focus. I have to trick it. Okay, do you see how we want to focus? Thank you. Yeah, they kind of do. Let's see. Let's flip back over to this one here. The colors represent earthly domains, green, earth, red, population. Oh, that's an interesting way to look at that. Pamela says, Rachel Pollack talked about wands being about the challenge of the battle. And once the battle is over, the wands are bored. This character is walled in by his success. Ooh, so getting some shadowy elements of that. I'm glad you are enjoying this, Elle Gardner. Elle says, green looks like what would be the ocean, the natural world, and then red is the continents that we humans have conceived, constructed, and manipulated on the back of fire, passion, and strength, right? And that kind of ties into what Elizabeth was saying about the red maybe representing population. Becca says, he looks like he is longing for something. Boy, he sure does. Jennifer says, I always thought there was a ship or boat in the water, and now I see there isn't anything. Nothing in the water, nothing on the hills, just a small house to the right. Right. I think in the 3, we have ships in the water in the 3, right? So that's what those are in the background. But yeah, I think sometimes because of sort of this longing in the world, I feel like I can envision a ship just maybe maybe just out of view, right? Welcome back, Emily. Jonathan notes that the figures posed, so from our book here, the 2 staves reflect important energies, drives or flames, contradictions within you or between you and the world, those that are to be separated from each other and those that are to be reconciled. And Justin might just be hungry. So, I haven't had strawberries in a while. I don't think they're in season just quite yet. Okay. Mindy says, in Thoth, or Toth, yeah, I said that. The 2 of Wands is represented by Mars and Aries, which is a whole lot of power. So I think there's an element of being cognizant of how to use your power intention. I appreciate that, Mindy. So you are welcome to bring the Toth or the Thoth here to Playdate. Donna says, the roses plus the lilies remind me of the magician. The stone wall reminds me of the emperor's throne. Totally can see that. Pamela says he's longing for a new challenge or battle to cure his boredom. Jonathan, the expanse of water, again from the book here, think global, act local. Oceanic feelings and our connectedness with everything so that we don't stagnate with a one-sided view of things, only taking one wand into account. Oh, don't only take one wand into account. Is that kind of what that means? Spring is not far, Justin. Spring is not far. Yeah, so once again, just in case anybody missed it, thank you, Jonathan. Simon often will put meanings from the book into our chat for us, and Jonathan is doing that for us today, so thank you very much. So what we're looking at, if I could figure out how to flip through a book, is the, okay, really doesn't want to open to the Two of Staves, right? So we have kind of the card here, and then it points to all the different kind of symbols and gives us meanings about those. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's see if we have any other thoughts while I was yammering away there. Let's see. Tarot Trini says, I have to step in. I drew this for my mom when I first started reading. She was worried about COVID. I saw the red bits in the world as the toxic red areas on a COVID map. Yeah, I can see that. Jonathan, the Blue Mountains, seen as a spiritual landscape. The background shows that everything has its own place. High areas, valleys near and far, the secret of the marriage of heaven and earth. Hope and reality symbolized by the Blue Mountain. So seen as a spiritual landscape. That's interesting that they don't talk about it being more of an obstacle, as I think we're so commonly, as we so commonly associate mountains with obstacles. Interesting. So any other thoughts on kind of the Two of Wands generally before we start getting into the alternate cards and the various meanings or questions? Pamela, I feel that he is secure and balanced with where he's at and ready to move to another level. Yeah, I mean, definitely we're in a place of stability here. So when we venture out of this place, are we risking that stability, or do we have all the tools we need to maintain that stability? Emily says, there's no doubt this figure looks comfortable, but the polarity of the two can feel a little bit frustrating, perhaps. There's a tension between what he has achieved and what is still being brought into manifestation. Got it? Donna says the wand that is in his hand is still resting on the stone wall, so it seems he is launching his new plans from a place of significant prior accomplishment. Yes, I think, yeah, that's really similar to what somebody else was saying earlier too. Like, we talked about how those little milestones can really help propel you forward when you accomplish things. All right, I'm going to start pulling out in a minute, apparently, because I've got more comments, but I'll take a sip of coffee here. So Jonathan says the cross, lily, and rose. So here we're talking down here. Show the three classical colors of alchemy, from coarse material black via purification, white, to ethereal higher energetic material, red. Transformation of energy, the skillful mastery of tasks. I really want to learn more about alchemy. You've probably heard me say that before here in Playdate, but I really want to learn more because I think it's so fascinating. All right, so as I do every week, I randomly select 5 decks from my collection, and I kind of rotate through all of them, and I will use those, we will use those to explore the card of the week and answer alternate questions. This first one that I have the book just in case, is a deck I haven't even honestly looked through just yet. And that is the Infernal Tarot, which is a deck I recently received after backing it on Kickstarter. Yeah, Justin, I need to read his book, and I love the Alchemical Tarot. I really want to get, I have the 4th edition, which is still glossy. I really want to get the 5th edition with the matte finish and the new box. I think that would be awesome. And I think the only reason I haven't prioritized it is just because I do have a version of the deck, but I need to remember how much I want that one and get it before it's not an option. All right, so our Two of Wands stance. So for those of you who don't know the premise of this deck, which might be many of you, the images were pulled, and I haven't done enough of my research, but the images were pulled from a book, and then kind of the tarot meanings extracted from them, and Eric Paulette, the artist, made some enhancements probably to the cards as well. Hey Zane, it's nice to see you. Oh, Debbie says, I just pulled my 2 of Wands from Mystical Moments. It's beautiful. All right, so here are the backs on this alchemical, no, infernal. Now I've got alchemical on the brain. I backed that one too, Elle Gardner, from our own Malamere. So this is the 2 of Wands in the Infernal Tarot. Look at the top. I think that's just like a border, but so here we have this man standing against the wall. So we don't literally see 2 wands or staves in this particular image, but I think this does a pretty good job of holding that kind of RWS imagery to it, doesn't it? Let's see. Jonathan was still bringing some of the symbols for us. So the battlements, a high vantage point, an overview, control, dominion, calm, equanimity towards oneself or others, as the case may be, to seek and find and take up one's place in the world. So what do you guys think about this particular image? Let me go ahead too, while you're looking at it, and see if I can find the spot in the book where it lives. See if I can pull anything out that might be helpful. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. There it is. All right, let me just put a little bookmark in there because I want to see your thoughts first. So Jennifer Rebecca says, could this card ever read as someone who can only look out and wonder about the world, but can only imagine what the world is like and hold that idea in the palm of their hand? I personally, in my opinion, think the answer to that could definitely be yes. We could get really stuck in that place, right? And maybe that's where we get into the shadow aspects or the reversed elements aspects of the card, where we don't progress to the 3, where we're actually embarking on the journey or taking the steps that we've so meticulously planned. Kim asks, is this book available to purchase? I'm not sure if it still is. I don't know if anybody knows. There's a much higher wall in this one. Yes. Hi, Simon. Thanks for popping in to say hello. Drive safely if you're in the car. Emily says, leading on from my last comment about finding confidence in achieving milestones, I feel this figure is really using those to his advantage, investing what he has into his future endeavors. So are you talking about this new card, or were you talking still about the last one? Just sometimes the chat's a little slow to keep up. Yeah, that was a dark globe. Yeah, the coloration on this is definitely different. But of course, the coloration in this whole deck is a little different. It looks to me like it's purple and green, which I'm a fan of purple, so I'm not necessarily going to complain. There we go. Yeah, so we kind of have a purple and green globe. Apparently nobody believes the earth is the color that it is. So Justin says, I like it. It's a bit different. Emphasis seems more to do with power and potential. Okay, so Emily said the last comment was about this card, my previous comment. Okay, all right, I'm keeping up okay, Emily, I think. So let me tell you, what is that? I don't even know what word you just, caduceus-like thing at the bottom? Do you mean like in the banner here? I feel like that's on every card. Yeah, that's kind of how he does his borders. I'm not sure if that's what you mean. Is that the thing that's like the medical symbol thing? Anyway, here, let me pull that a little bit closer, but not too close. Legend speaks of a man who could see the future, even though he had lost the power of sight. With a stick to guide him, he learned the lanes and alleys of his town and was able to navigate where he needed to be without the aid of others. One day, he visited a traveling market, and there he was sold a globe of the world, rich in detail and lines. Even though he was blind, he could feel the shape of the islands and seas and could follow the lines that encompass the world and connect one place to the next. Through touch, he began to see what his eyes could not, and through a natural form of geomancy, he began to predict the future of others and describe upcoming unforeseen events with accuracy. This is an interesting story. My arm's getting tired. Okay, there we go. People began to visit and ask about their destinies. The blind man described what their future held and where they would likely travel. One day, a visitor asked the man to read his own fortune, something the blind man had never done before. On reading his own future, the man smiled and nodded silently to himself, put the globe in a box, and slipped it in a drawer, vowing never to read fortunes again. Ooh, a little tingly listen to that story. So I think that's a cool story that I think, okay, I might need to dive into this deck a little bit more. I have not yet given it a good chance. All right, let's see what you guys are saying as I was reading to you. Hi, Melanie Oak Mama. Nice to see you. Okay, I'm glad I was interpreting what you were saying there correctly, Donna. Jonathan, interesting how I just mentioned the battlements, and this card has major battlements. Elle says, can this be the Christian God just after making Earth? Like, you gross. Humans have spawned here. Here, you take it. I don't want it no more. Don't touch it. Throw it. Like, what have I done? All right. Yeah, this is on all the cards, not just the ones, I think, Donna, but I will check for you. Oh, okay. I'm a liar. There's a different symbol. So like in the swords, we have like that. And then the majors have nothing like that. In the cups, we have a cup. Well, now we need to know what's on the pentacles, don't we? Because we've already invested this much time in it. And then the pentacles have like a coin. Good question. Clearly, I know nothing about this deck yet. All right. That's what happens when you get too many decks into your collection. But now I want to read that book. Okay. So, come back. Two of Wands. There we go. I've left Elle's comment up there the whole time. It's the Asclepius staff. Well, it's a wand or staff of some kind. That much I kind of started to figure out. So Justin had said, what I mean is I get more planning from the RWS image. This image has a guy with a sword who's ready to conquer, so it has more to do with power. Both cards address that, but it's just slightly different. I can appreciate that. Okay. So shall we try to answer our first question with this card, which was from our Jenna? How will the full moon affect our week? And then while we're thinking about that, I think I had a couple more comments pop up here. Anyone know where the Infernal Tarot is available? That's a good question. I didn't do a walkthrough of this, so I didn't look up the website. So White Tree Tarot says, this made me think of those adventurers and discoverers who went on their journey without really reliable maps, just following the feeling that there has to be a way to India, a new continent, etc., right? Going with their gut instincts. Elizabeth asks, are there any mountains in this card? I don't know that it's easy to see. We definitely have this higher wall. I would say maybe back there in the landscape there. That still looks like there's river and at least some hilly landscape in the back. He has quite a beard, doesn't he? Donna says, yeah, this guy looks less confident about his abilities. Oh, Jenna, you have the link to where you can buy it on your video. And I can, if somebody reminds me, I can also put a link to it below here as well. Donna said, maybe because he doesn't appear to have that second wand in reserve. Oh, so maybe that's why he seems less confident. Interesting. Right? It does seem like a little bit more trepidous with the way he's holding the earth as well. Regina Tarot, hi Regina. Shedding light on the next step in your plan of action. Forward moment is enhanced. So here we're getting into answering the question, right? So how will the full moon affect our week? By shedding light in the next step on your plan of action, right? And oftentimes too, around the full moon, we'll be thinking about releasing, right? So what might be holding us back or preventing us from taking that next step? Maybe if we focus on that as part of our connecting with the full moon, what is it that we need to release? Whether it's fears, inhibitions, or personal entanglements, whatever it might be, right? They're kind of keeping us from enacting our plans. Let's see. But I guess I'm using more the moon to answer the question about the card in that situation, which is kind of an interesting way to go about it, I suppose. Let's see here. Emily says, I think the full moon is allowing us to analyze how we are protected by our boundaries and the physical manifestations of our previous actions, but also where we can afford to make changes. Ooh, Thank you, Elle. So Elle posted the link to the original Kickstarter here. And then usually when you go to an old Kickstarter, you can usually click a button to either go pre-order it or something. So sounds like there's maybe a way to do that. Appreciate that. All right, so Emily had said where we can afford to make changes and move forward with confidence. Does anybody else have any input on how they would answer Jenna's question on how will the full moon affect our week? Maybe this actually, so let me reverse kind of what I was doing before, because I'll just keep going until y'all have some thoughts here. Donna said, let go of the world by dropping it from the top of a high building. Well, that's literal. Bye, Jennifer. Thank you for being here. Maybe what we can do is, this is the time to make those plans, right? Oh, I had a thought and then I got distracted by the chat. Darn it. How will the full moon affect our week? Oh, my brilliant thought is gone. It's just out of my head. So clearly not that brilliant. I do like the idea of the shedding light though, right? Affording us the opportunity. Maybe it's even just making us, I think throughout the moon cycle, right? We have multiple opportunities to sort of evaluate the intentions that we've set, the plans that we've made or tried to put into motion. So this can also be a good time for us to kind of look at it and be like, all right, this is still where I want to go. How am I going to get there? So giving us an opportunity to take stock. Jonathan said the full moon is, no, that's not a touch screen, Jen. The full moon is offering us a choice between something safe versus something unknown. And then Mindy says the full moon will bring our focus to examining our plans. How do you feel about those answers, Jenna? Are we doing all right here? And I say we, I mostly mean them. And then Donna says, stronger emotions might make us doubt our abilities. Ooh, so be careful about that, right? A little bit of a warning in there. Yeah, Elizabeth, a sip of coffee. You are looking out for me, Elizabeth. Someday we'll have to have coffee. Okay. Ooh, Elle's got an answer here too. The globe here, wait, there on that side, equals completion, the height of power, the realization of your desires, and the peak of clarity. Celebrate your growth, take note of what progress you've made, and to reflect on how far you have come. Okay, that's awesome. And then Jonathan says, the man holds the earth in his hand, which is symbolic of authority, very much like the emperor who holds a golden globe. True, true. All right, I am going to pull out our next deck and get back to the comments here. All right, so that was the Infernal Tarot. Now, let's do this one. So this one here is in a pouch. It's one of the boxes that got destroyed back in the day when Vaughn thought it would be cute to lift his leg on my tarot shelf. Thankfully, that doesn't happen anymore because when we moved in here, there was a dog that lived here who I think had accidents on the carpet. So Vaughn needed to mark his territory. Since we have new carpet, that no longer happens. Not that you needed that whole story, but just thought you should know my decks no longer appear to be in danger. Okay, we have so in here, the wands are represented by candles. Oh, you guys should have some thoughts about this. This is an interesting image, I think. Elle says that was supposed to be the moon, a definition of what the full moon represents. Oh, I said it was the earth, not the moon. You're right. That totally makes sense with what you said. Okay, my apologies for goofing that when I read it out loud. All right, so this is the Tarot of the Haunted House by Sasha Graham. And here is what the Two of Wands fire candles looks like in this deck. Bye. Sorry, just noticing what it said on the spirit board there. What do you think about this one? Wouldn't it be great if we could have like play date in person? That would be so cool. All right. Full moon represents fulfillment and no gratitude may be in order. And so gratitude may be in order before moving on to the next project or phase. It's too bad we didn't have this card for the full moon question because it's got a full moon right on it. Because Clearly, I picked these in the wrong order today. So does this bring to light? I feel like this has a much moodier message. You know, we're consulting the spirit board, right, to maybe figure out what our next steps are. So we're looking for a little guidance. We're still looking to do the planning, but we are seeking some advice from other guides, if we will, right? So maybe we're not quite comfortable in taking the next steps without a little bit of input, perhaps. What do you guys think? A Zoom play date. Someday, Lori, we might try it. Melanie says, interesting that it's night. Yeah. Yeah, it sets a whole different tone and mood. Do you like it? Does it feel weird? Did I already read this, Elle? Using the past to influence and guide your future. Oh, so connecting maybe with ancestor spirits or things like that. That's interesting to think about. Jonathan said, create something of your own, be a visionary and come up with new ideas to old problems, going against what is established and accepted by society, because that is how progress is made. Were you answering with that one? Are you answering Jenna's question there, Jonathan? Maybe, perhaps? Are there any other? I feel like this chat. Oh, no, that one's caught up. It's just we're all caught up with each other today. I feel like there's a cool, like, magical element, right? I love the idea of the candles as the wands. What deck is this card from? This is from the Tarot of the Haunted House, or Tarot of Haunted House by Sasha Graham. I think this is it's a Los Scarabeo deck. Shall we get straight to the question? I'm thinking that might help get us flowing here. So this was actually Jonathan's question. How do we embrace our blessings for the betterment of all? How do we embrace our blessings for the betterment of all? So you can either just tell me, bye, Lori. You can either just tell me what your general impressions of this card are, or let's go ahead and answer Jonathan's question. Okay, I'm just making sure I put it in the right context there, Jonathan. I know sometimes it can take a little bit to type in chat. Emily says, yes, it feels this person has reached a point of tension, not crossroads, but two roads meeting. Indecision, inertia. The person needs to speak to spirit, past loved ones, etc. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being here. Elle says, autonomy. We choose when and how we connect to our past, our beliefs, and spirit. No dogma, no enforcement. We choose our method, pace, guides, and reason. Oh, I like that. So we think about how do we embrace our blessings for the betterment. Oh, I thought the chat jumped, but maybe not. So how do we embrace our blessings for the betterment of all? Maybe that's about, maybe we have to dig a little bit deeper to find those blessings, right? We have to do a little bit more work, dive into the shadows a little bit. Maybe the things that we've been avoiding or the things that scare us that make it difficult to recognize our blessings, right? So I'm kind of looking at the moodiness of this card and figuring out how to also, though, reach out for the support that we need. So maybe that's recognizing where you get your support. Is it in spirituality? Is it in the people around you? But if you can use your beliefs to help build the confidence for you to take the next steps forward, then that's better for everybody, right? So that's one way I could think of answering the question. But what do you all think? Oh, so Anne says, nice interpretation to answer the question. Full moon mysteries. Yes, Jenna. All right. I'm putting you all on the spot while I drink my coffee. Gratitude, says Melanie. Yes. White Tree Tarot. As this is a Wands card, the person is not using pure logic or pure emotions. They believe their passion, trust in their purpose will lead their hand. Ooh, I like that. That's a nice way of looking at it. Emily says, tap into our inner resources. Listen to spirit, but don't take everything at face value. Not all intuitive hits are truthful or divinely given. Yeah, sometimes we can get led astray. Donna says, tell yourself that nobody can hold a candle to your unique abilities. Oh, I like that. I like that one a lot. Jonathan says, I find it interesting that the setting is a nighttime, whereas the RWS is in the daytime. Maybe your blessings are hidden in the shadows, and by bringing them into the light, you better all. Yeah. Yeah. See, you must have been kind of getting what I was trying to say there. L. Gardner says, this one definitely has a vibe. Regina Tarot says, prepare ourselves to receive. There's a phrase people use, don't block your blessings. We sometimes have to do inner work before we can embrace them. Oh, that is true. True story. Yes. Pamela says, they say history repeats itself, so learn from those before so as to not repeat mistakes. Oh, learn from those before us so as to not repeat mistakes. Yes. All right. Good answers. Feel free to keep them coming as I kind of reach. How was that, Jonathan? Unless you had some other thoughts. But I think you also kind of answered your own question a bit. And then Sean said, let your intuition help guide you forward. Oh, I like that too. You thought YouTube was dealing you a poop. What? I don't even know what that means, Emily. Okay. All right. We're gonna connect with nature a bit here. Oh, that one I didn't set to scroll. Okay, there we go. That was the one that I tried to accidentally delete earlier, so that's why that one looked funny. Am I seeing Emily's comments? Are you typing? I read out the how do we tap embrace our blessings. Did I miss something else? Oh yeah, you read that twice. Okay, I saw it the second time. I do see both of them up there though. If I scrolled, it was probably just jumpy chat. Did I get caught up, Emily? Are we okay? Oklahoma says wands have always been about force of will, but this card hints not at will, but of surrender, right? So kind of letting go and letting us be guided a little bit. Okay, good. I'm glad you loved the answers, Jonathan. Pamela says it's so interesting to see the different deck interpretations of the same card. Yes, and I can like hold up more side by side too. If you have two you want to see together, just let me know. Oh no, Maybe you just chopped the wrong end of a card. Oh well, it's just fine. I mean, oh well, just the deck's fine. Right. All right, so deck number 3 today is the Crow Tarot by MJ Cullinane, also the creator of the Wise Dog Tarot, the Grimalkin Tarot, and some new deck too. There's a new Crow Oracle that I was really tempted to get because I think it's really beautiful, but I only want, I guess, so many crows, so I have really hesitated, but I feel like people who have it really like it. All right, let's take a look at this one. This is the mass market edition. I did not get the indie. And we'll put that there. We'll have the book handy. Yeah, YouTube gets sometimes cranky with the all caps. Usually it's fine, and then every once in a while it just gets nuts. Here are the backs, by the way, for anybody who wants to see that. Here is our Two of Wands from the Crow Tarot. I love that kind of the wands are pointing up to and supporting the earth. I think that's pretty cool. And we have our two crows here. So what do you guys think about this one? Let me see if there's anything sort of worth highlighting from the book. Okay, she goes backwards. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2. The crows holding the wands do so with, it helps if you can see it. The crows holding the wands do so with patience and balance. It takes skill and strength to maintain the world. When the wands come together, they create a spark that sets an idea in motion, one that has the power to create a path to success. These birds bring opportunities for travel as well as the need to make life-changing decisions. Each journey offers the possibility of a new experience. The Two of Wands urges you to get out of your comfort zone because destiny is waiting. I like that. Emily says, ooh, I love that too. Just thinking that the structure of the two forms is protective and empowering at the same time. Ooh, boundary setting. Ooh, I like that. And Pamela said too, I really like that idea of supporting the world. Let's see. Interesting collaboration, says White Tree Tarot. Does anything jump out at you or make you think something different in this card than you normally would? I do feel like, it's funny, I feel like the decks I'm choosing are sort of out of sync with the questions. A lot of times, I mean, I just kind of pile them up so I'm prepared in the order that I'm going to take them. But I feel like this would have been really great for Jonathan's question. Like if we look at this again, how do we embrace our blessings for the betterment of all? And we see like the earth angles. We see that the earth is being supported by the wand. So I feel like that would have been a really good one. I feel like I switched these, but we'll see how this goes with Emily's question here in a moment. Anne says, I couldn't say it better than the book. Elle says, oh, how two of wands. For in the end, there is no us and them, no human and other. We are them and they are us. And all that happened before and will happen again. Where did that come from? It's in quotes, so I feel like you took it from somewhere. Donna says there's more duality in this card. Emily says it's like these two crows are almost the physical manifestations of will and surrender. Definitely duality. Yes. Collaborating and cooperating. So it's interesting here, right? Because we've kind of had this progression. If I just look at the alternate cards. So here we sort of have this guy who stands alone. And I think some people said, you know, he looks a little less sure than the character in this card, right? And then we move on. We're like, okay, we're completely letting go. And we are reaching out to spirit, ancestors, guides of some kind to help us out. And now we have like literally support happening here with another crow with us. So it's interesting how we have sort of these different ways of looking at the kind of support we might get in our ventures in the Two of Wands by looking at that aspect of these different cards. Neem notices that one side looks fiery and hot, the other side icy and cold, right? With the background here, I didn't even really pick up on that, Neem. So that's a good observation. Emily says, I love this deck for my question. Jonathan says the two crows are different than a single man. It speaks more of collaboration versus dominion. They have to work together in order to get the job done. Yes, yes, yes. Regina, opposing forces coming together to make something work. So not only are we collaborating, but we're collaborating from two different elements, right? The air and the fire coming together maybe to make this happen. Emily says, I do think there's something magical happening with our progression of cards today. This is all aligned. Yeah, so maybe in the end, even though I said I pulled them out of order, you know, the tarot, it does its thing, right? Regina says, I'm thinking about how they're almost leaning against each other. Symmetry and reflection. Yes. The tempering of cold and hot, wet and dry. Yes, yes, yes. So let's take a look at our Emily's question here. How can we empower ourselves to face our fears and shift our mindset to be more nourishing and creative this week? Oh, I feel like this is a great card to answer that question. How can we empower ourselves to face our fears and shift our mindset to be more nourishing and creative this week? So maybe it's about embracing the fears. So, right. So rather than trying to work against whatever mindset we're experiencing, we need to embrace it. We need to incorporate it. What's the word when you incorporate? Is that the word I want? You kind of get what I'm saying, right? There's a Jungian philosophy around that. Integrate. That's the word I want, right? Maybe we need to integrate those aspects because that's going to help us plan in a way that lends us to most be able to be successful, right? Or maybe tapping into that side of us is what's going to expand and open up our creativity to kind of answer the question specifically. But let me see what you guys think. Donna says or asks, are their butts submerged? I mean, the waves are certainly lapping. TK says hello. I'm waiting for all the TKs that will now show up in chat. Pamela, masculine energy moving to feminine energy. Okay. Regina says, also thinking of the way feathers work for regulation or temperature regulation. Emily says, yes, they are supporting each other. They are like mirror images of one another. Same person, right? So the two sides, that duality within So maybe that support system isn't coming from outside, but within yourself, and embracing all aspects of yourself to really give you the best opportunity to accomplish what you're after. But then Jennifer says, or Jenna says right here, perhaps lean on a friend for support, right? So we can look at that image and think, okay, maybe there is something to be gained from looking outside. Synthesize, not quite the word I was looking for, but I get where you're going with that. Turn lemons into lemonade. Yes. Integration. Yes. Yep, there's the TKs I was waiting for. Emily, answering her own question. Wow, literally, yes. We need to hold ourselves through the struggles. If we are aware, instead of beating ourselves up and fragmenting ourselves further, we need to give ourselves the compassion we so need and move forward without judgment as well. You know, I was talking about this week. I'm trying to like brainstorm ideas, and I have to really remember that whole concept when planning and brainstorming, to not censor and not immediately judge every idea that comes to mind, right? We have to let the ideas flow, and then we can pick and pull from them. But it's like that instinct to want to like, nope, that's not a good idea. Nope, that's ridiculous. Nope, that sounds terrible. Like we do that out of the gate, and then we stifle our creativity. So if we can avoid doing that and allow that to flow and embrace all sides, good and bad, good ideas, bad ideas, you know, then maybe we'll get a little further. Jonathan says, don't feel like you have to tackle them yourself. You are surrounded by those willing to help if only you can ask for help. Regina, keep what is useful from the current mindset and look for what is useful from an opposite mindset. So kind of be your own devil's advocate a little bit, right? Elle says, so with the suits, 1 + 1 in cups equals love and relationship, plus minus, 1 + 1 in pence equals balance and stability. I was trying to do more math with the minus instead of the dash. 1 + 1 in swords is pause and thought. What do you get as a result of 1 + 1 for wands? What's born from 2 wands? Creativity and passion? Those are my 2 words. What do you guys think? This is a fun game. Combine our resources, says Regina Tarot. Oh, now you guys are flowing. Regina says left and right. I keep thinking of the act of walking. Pamela says stop with resistance and use energy to transform. Donna answering, try approaching something in the opposite way from how you normally would. He is noisy today. Emily, absolutely. I'm always catching myself, judging myself at every point and nitpicking myself and shooting all over myself. Oh, same, sister, same. But being mindful of it is good enough. It can help us move forward, right? And I think like meditation practice can really help with that too, right? It's learning to like recognize thoughts without judging them is kind of part of the practice. Did I miss what Right True Tarot? Oh, I kind of did. A gateway, a threshold. Okay, I like that. Kind of answering Elle's question there. And then Melanie said, bring together new resources to create something new. You get a lightsaber duel between father and son. So true. That's true. That's two wands coming together in a way. Pamela says, crows mate for life. The 2 are united without sacrificing their individuality. Ooh, I like this one too. 1 + 1 equals creativity and motivation. And then creativity and determination. Creativity seems to be the common thread through all of our answers to Elle's question. All right. Are you feeling empowered, Emily? How'd we do with that? I loved this card for your question, I have to say. So forget the stuff I said earlier about switching things around. All right. Let's keep things moving here. All right. We're going to go deep, folks. We're going to get out of our RWS box a little bit. And let's take a look at the Marielle Tarot, shall we? All right. Again, a deck that completely intimidates me that I have not worked with properly yet, but it's definitely still on the to-do list. So in here, I think our wands are, oh, they are still wands. Ooh, oh, this one's cool. I like this. Okay, sorry. I get pretty excited before you even know what I'm looking at. Let me put that over there. So This is the second edition of the Marielle that I have. So this is the borderless version. Don't believe this is a card that was changed, though. In fact, I know it was not. So here is what our Two of Wands looks like. Look at those wise old faces in the trees. The roots and the darkness ahead. What are we going to find when we walk through those trees? Neem said there's a saying, if ifs were a fifth, we'd all be drunk. We all have doubts, but chance is how you get the definite result. If ifs were a fifth, oh my gosh. And if you put in the shoulda, woulda, couldas in there too, that's a mess. That would be quite a mess. All right, I've got some instant reactions here. Whoa, and ooh. I feel like the possibilities here, it's a little more nerve-wracking, but also a little exciting. Like, do you feel like, I feel like a little bit of an adrenaline rush when I look at this card, like, ooh, that's scary. What's in there? I want to take my little hermit lamp and go exploring. What do you guys think? Jonathan says, this is the portal, the gateway into the future. Regina, sometimes when you look into the abyss looks back. Donna says, scary dark hole. Oh, Emily also saying it's the opening of a portal. So does she actually say that in the book? Do you guys both know the book? I'm afraid to open the book because it's there's a lot of words in there. That's a lot to read during Playdate. Path working with this card, definitely, like really imagining what it would be to step into this card. Would you talk to the trees? What would they say to you? Would they give you anything or any advice as you head into that dark portal? Oh, that could be a really good one. Anne says there's opportunity if you dare to enter. Pamela, a gateway to the unconscious. Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so you just pulled out portal. Okay, I like that. You guys are on the same page. Or wavelength would be probably a better way to say that. Oh, you just got this deck during the last month. Ooh, we're going to inspire you to dive a little deeper, aren't we? L, we have to destroy to create a lot of the time. Those cool tree blokes might be chopped down to create and manifest something new, which is kind of sad, but perhaps a worthy sacrifice. Oh, that's kind of twisted, L. Thinking about chopping those old trees down, that kind of hurts my heart a little bit. Emily says it feels magical, like they creak and open up for you at the touch, right? Or maybe you have to know the right password. Like they're gonna quiz you to find out if you are worthy enough to enter. White Tree Tarot says, yes, scary, but a bit impossible to resist. I need to know where this leads, right? Curiosity, you know what they say about it, right? Oak Mama says, I'm loving how the branches entwine, but so do the roots. Trees communicate and help each other via their roots. Tammy Pie, I so love this card. It makes a doorway. Yes. Okay, so both Jonathan and Emily were just kind of coming up with the portal. I love that. I think that's cool. Those tangled roots can trip you up, or they can be footholds for climbing, right? So recognize that things that might look like burdens or obstacles could actually aid you in your journey. Emily, yes, exactly. Only if you're ready to venture forward will you be able to. Donna says, I'm not going in there without some supplies. I mean, at least the lantern, right? Something to see in the dark. In the book, Tree of Life and Tree of Knowledge border the portal. Oh, I love that. That makes so much sense. Sean says the door knockers in the labyrinth. Oh, yeah. I vaguely remember that. I have not seen that a million times like many others in our community have. Pamela, no rules. You carve your own path. All right, let's get to answering before we run out of time here. So from B. Kestrel, this should be fun. What should we avoid this week? Should we not go into the scary looking portal? I'm still tempted. I'm not going to lie, but maybe this is a warning that maybe we need to be careful about moving forward until we have made sure that we have the proper supplies and the resources we need to minimize the risk, right? So maybe this does speak a little bit because of kind of the dark, ominous, potentially exciting nature of this card, that we should avoid being rash, right? We really do need to take that time to step carefully and thoughtfully as we move forward. So that's my take on the question, but would love to hear what you all think. Hermie, where are you at? Yep, need a lantern, Emily. Elle says, there's a story of the oldest tree in a state called something I can't remember, but he survived for centuries because he was different and deemed not useful to cut him down. That's a way to survive. I think the hermit is hiding back there. He has your lantern. Jackie answering the question. No going into deep, dark holes. Emily says, yes, maybe caution is advisable. Oh, being unprepared. Pamela says, go ahead and avoid the world and enter your portal. So avoid the world by escaping into the portal. I like the twist there. That's fun. Neem says, a quote from the Marielle guidebook, in the universe, there are things that are known and things that, and the things that are unknown, and in between there are doors. Things that are known, things that are unknown, and in between there are doors. Yes, by William Blake. I like that. Oak Mama says, it reminds me of Black Madonna shrines recessed in old Indian trees. No, linden trees. Oh, my eyeballs. Okay. Regina says, don't leave your masks at home. Jonathan, avoid being driven by our fears and seeing something that is an opportunity as a danger. Okay, I like that too. Pamela says, take advantage of the light of the full moon. So bringing in our earlier question and thinking about the time that it is right now. White Tree Tarot, as Jen mentioned, we have to do some research. If we know the right word, probably the portal will open and maybe the light will come up. Ooh, I like that. Sean, yes, be careful stepping over the twisted roots, but go forward. Elsa, so avoid not avoiding. Emily, it's understood that the trees and fungi create connections between themselves to protect themselves and each other against dangers. I think if our intentions are pure, we will be safe. Anne says, look, think before you leap. Hi, Kristen. It's nice to see you. Yeah, so I think, what should we avoid? I mean, I still tend to look at this as, move forward, but do your due diligence, which I think often the kind of the standard Two of Wands is often about that planning cycle. But I love, love, love all of these answers. Hopefully, I don't know if you're still here with us, V, but if not, hopefully we answered your question. All right, let's get our last deck because I always think I have a whole crud ton of time. I say that every week. I'm very predictable. All right, the last one I have. We're going to step through the portal, go into the woods, and we are going to encounter animal life with the El Goliath Tarot. Okay, that's as creative as I get just there. Just saying. I'm not even going to try to read this book in real life because even though this is the second edition with the bigger font, still pretty tiny. Okie doke. So let's get the Two of Wands. I love this smaller edition, though. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I love it. Okay, so let me turn that there. Put that there. So we've got some energy happening here. Oh, TK, my goodness. All right, let me get back to comments here. All right, so here is the Two of Wands from the El Goliath. Talk about harnessing some power. What do you think? What do you think? All right, let me see what you guys have been saying. Fungi sounds cuter. Neem was answering the last question. Avoid doors without doorknobs. Don't stay indoors, Kristen had said. All right. And then Emily had also said, maybe examine our motivations before acting, as well as being prepared. I like that. My transition from one deck to another. I was feeling pretty proud of that, Elle. Corvin's liking our choice of decks this week. Oh, did you? Virginia's talking back to TK. Those two would make quite a pair in their old kitty cat rocking chairs together. Are those animal horns? Yes, I believe that they are. And it probably, maybe I can get that much from the book. Let's see here. Two of Wands. There's cups, swords, wands, ace, two. The lightning struck antenna. We see two black horns from an impala raised up towards the sky. There you go. Thankfully, I was able to read that. Electrical antelope horns. Yeah, I feel like what this is like lightning striking from above, but rather than it doing the damage, we're harnessing that energy for what comes next, right? We're like, all right, I'll take your power and I will use it to my advantage. That's kind of how I looked at this. The lightning looks like it's using the wands as stilts to hold it up. Oh, that's interesting. Bolts of lightning igniting our intentions. Ooh, I like that. Emily says, definitely some electric energy happening here. The two are synced up, creating more fuel for the storm. Yeah. Jackie, power from above, lighting your passion. Jonathan, Impala, that's the name I was trying to remember. I don't think I would have come up with that. Emily says, this deck is charming me very slowly. Super Impala. All right. There's not a ton to dive into imagery wise, but I'm interested because I feel like we're kind of getting like the directional movement. There seem to be some differing thoughts on kind of which way that energy is traveling. So that's kind of interesting. How many times can I say interesting in like a paragraph? All right. Now this will be challenging to answer Neem's question. How can we work towards self-forgiveness? Oh, I've got a thought though. Oh, I've got a thought. Okay. And Kristen had said, like lightning rod collects and grounds the lightning. Not sure if that is what lightning rods do, though. I think it does, or like it attracts it so that the lightning doesn't go elsewhere, right? Maybe protecting other things. Literally struck by inspiration. Yes, definitely grounding that energy. Yeah, I would say too, so how can we work towards self-forgiveness? A lot of the times I think we tend to see our unique characteristics, the way that we move through this world. We take on the judgments of others and we have an inner voice in our head that's judging what we do. Like earlier, we were talking about how it's so easy to criticize and judge when we're trying to put our ideas out into the world, right? So maybe if we can, instead of letting those judgments from ourselves, from others, strike us and do damage, if we can harness that in a way that lets us, where am I going with this? Like if we can harness that power and let that fuel us moving forward, right? It's kind of like reverse psychology. When somebody says, oh, you can't do that. And you're like, yeah, I'll show you. I take that lightning bolt of negativity and I'm going to turn it into something positive, right? So that's kind of where my head's going. There's more. And I kind of lost it a little bit as I was rambling, but if it comes back to me, I'll give you my more something thoughts. Oh, I think I said this one already. Definitely. So I have to figuratively tase yourself. Right? I mean, you might need a little shock to the system to get out of the rut of assuming that everything that this is where I was going, right? So those things that people say are those outside judgments that make us think that our unique qualities are negative or bad. What if instead we look at those as really, truly being our authentic power in who we are? Right? And that might scare other people if they don't recognize it, if they don't understand it. But that just because somebody else doesn't understand or agree doesn't mean that that's not a strength and that's not a power and that's not something that can fuel you as you move forward. That's where I was going with that. All right. Thanks. Sorry. All right. I'll back to your comments as I get off my little soapbox here. So Emily said, or perhaps both ways, though. I think the energy can travel both ways. Agreed. Jonathan said, by being a channel, pulling the divine into the world. Ooh, I like that too. Emily says, electric lightning from above, but the energy has to ground to be transformed and recycled once again, like rain and clouds. Regina says, allow yourself to see your own light and let that be bigger. Yes, Regina, that's kind of in line with kind of where I was going. Regina says, I almost wrote literally, but then I'd have to forgive myself some more. Most of the time we try to use that word right? Pamela says, lightning energy can transform unforgiveness to forgiveness. Ooh, I like that too. Anne says, become grounded and trust in our inner truth. Okama says, if the ace is the spark of light, I lost it. If the ace is the spark of lightning, then the 2 is the grounding of the energy and combining it with more resources to make use of it. White Tree Tarot, we should stop apologizing for the lightning playing in our heads. Pamela says, it seems you're speaking of a breakthrough. Electricity is positive. Donna, let the negativity pass through you instead of letting it linger and do internal damage. Yes, yes, yes. Elle says, ooh, we are like antennas, receiving thoughts and ideas from, is universal consciousness the right term? Yeah, I think it might be. I need to do some more research on that, Elle. Emily, we have to recognize we are fallible and human and we all make mistakes. No shame or judgment required. We are flawed. Yes, Jen, and that is powerful. We can harness that energy and use it. Jonathan, when those self-doubts and self-judgments strike, let them ground into the reality of your true self and let them charge your actions in a positive way. How perfect was this card for this question? You guys are inspired, I can tell. Kristen, see your light in the darkness just as you see it in others. See your light, I'm going to emphasize that, in the darkness just as you see it in others. Mindy says, I'm doing a lot of thought work and trying to rewire my thoughts around feelings. So maybe what this is saying is turn the negative thoughts into something positive by controlling the lightning. Yes, yes, yes. Or it might be Akashic Records. I don't know much about those either, Elle. That sounds like a fun research activity. Donna says, electrons being negatively charged. Sean, if you're still here to hear me say goodbye to you, goodbye. Thanks for being here. Emily, when I was younger, I would cry a lot. I couldn't help it. Some people thought I was weak, but it proved to strengthen me over and over again, and others couldn't fathom it. Vulnerability is powerful. And also, how you express yourself shouldn't be defined by others' expectations. Neem, let that shit go. We are not perfect, but we are here. Embrace all your energies, positive, negative, and grow from it. Make it all have purpose. Yes. You got the power. Yes, Jackie. Emily says, it was only when I cut myself off from receiving downloads that I was able to numb myself to feeling it all. But it inhibited my development when I switched it off. Yeah, going numb isn't going to allow you to experience the world. And that's certainly a defense mechanism, I think. Alice's opposite action to emotion, turning the bad energy into good. Harness and use it to your advantage, for sure. All right, we are coming up on time, but we still have 2 things to do here before we go. Let's talk about when the 2 of Wands, actually, let's use our Melanie. We haven't used it much today. So let's talk about when the 2 of Wands is reversed, or if you don't read reversals, when you see this in a position of being a challenge or obstacle that needs to be overcome, something you should not do, right? Depending on a spread, how would you look at this? In its reversed aspect. And then Emily is saying in the last one here, yes, absolutely, that was a fearful response to shut down. Instead, harnessing the power is where it becomes magical. Yes, yes, yes. And then Elle said, we think we are numb, but the body never forgets. All that crap stores up and eventually expresses itself in not so great ways. Very true. Very, very true. Okay, Regina is bringing some reversed aspects or shadow aspects for us here. Plans delayed or blocked. Sometimes a lack of motivation or complacency. Oak Mama, fear of the unknown, lack of planning, right? And maybe it's really that hesitancy to move forward. Like we can't envision it. We can't see what we can accomplish. You know, this little world here that earlier we had in the palm of our hand is like falling out of our hand and rolling away. And we're like, I don't know what I can do, right? Jonathan, reverse. Let me put this on this side here. 2 of Wands can represent unrealistic ideas and plans. You may have big dreams, but little ability to follow through with them. You may be limited in power or influence and feel put down by others or even yourself, right? Jonathan, you may lack outside cooperation from others who are unwilling to help. You could also be lacking confidence. Yes, Jackie, dropping the ball, right? Not getting it done. And could it too be also like we never really get past that huge brainstorming session where we throw all the ideas out there and we don't really whittle it down to what we can truly accomplish and move forward with? Any other thoughts on that? While you guys are looking at that, I'm going to go get our tarot playdate activity. Oh, I forgot to put up our little, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing right now. And then I also have the activity. If you guys have any other thoughts on this, does this, oh, no, we still have 2 more wands after this, both court cards, but we have made it through the minors of the wands now officially, not including the courts. All right, I'm going to check to see if you guys have any other thoughts. Emily does. Reverse, we are completely shut down, exhausted, not looking at reality of what we have achieved, or perhaps we have an inflated idea of what we have achieved. So maybe like a false confidence. Kristen said, just an intuitive reading, feeling disdain for the world. Oh, that's interesting. Yep, inflated ego getting in the way, and inertia, fear of change. L, oh, this is a good one, L. Procrastination. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Emily, fear of moving forward. Oh, those are good ones. All right. Well, I'm sure there are many others, but because we are close on time, I want to leave you with an activity that I will post in the description box of this video below. And at some point this week, I will put a link to this video. I usually like to wait until the chat is up. That's usually why I don't do it right away. But sometimes it's maybe better if I just go ahead and do it. So this week's activity is called Gateway to Progress. And please don't forget, like, do share other 2 of Wands cards and your thoughts on them in the Tarot Playdate Facebook group, or if you are so inclined on Instagram using the hashtag Tarot Playdate. All right. Oh gosh, I kicked that twice today. Trying to get comfy here. All right. So our activity, Gateway to Progress. Think of a project or hobby that you have started or an interest you are pursuing, but you haven't really gained any momentum yet. It's time to finalize the plan and get moving on that thing. Grab your deck and let it help you get moving by asking the following questions. So this is a little mini spread for you this week. Oh, I would love it. I would love it if we could all be better and put the activity in the Playdate group, because I think this would be really fun. Sorry, if I do say so myself. So position number 1, what is preventing me from moving forward? It's only 3 cards, not hard. Position number 2, what do I need to do to remove this barrier to my progress? And card number 3, what can I do next to move forward with this project / hobby / idea? So 3 card spread to help us get out of whatever little sticky place we might be in with whatever hobby, idea, project we are working on. All right, my friends, let me see if you had any other thoughts in here while I was, oh, that was the wrong banner. That was tarot activity time. And then let's see, Emily had said some other reverse meanings, feeling inhibited, feeling like we're not capable of what we know we can already do. Regina, quote from the Wizard of Oz, I can come back. I don't know how it works. That's a good one. Living in the past with no desire to move forward. Again, looking at those reversals. All right, Oak Mama knows which project. Elle says, I totally am doing this right now. I need to get my butt moving. Great activity. Yeah, I'm actually excited about this one. Sometimes I read the activities and I'm like, okay, that one must have been at 2:30 in the morning. But this one I'm feeling pretty good about. All right, my friends, thank you once again for all of you who were here, who participated. I think we had a little bit of a smaller group today, but we still had tons of lively chats. So thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you next week for Tarot Playdate number 62. 62. All right, you guys, have a great week. Love you.